Need to improve your kick serve? Well, let's go over the basics. Now, at minimum, you must have a continental grip, and that is where we place the base knuckle of the index finger and the heel pad on panel number 2. Now, just remember that the top panel is panel 1. If you're right-handed, then this is panel 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? That's how you count the panels. If you're a lefty, then this is your panel number 2, right? So you always count the top panel as number 1. If you're right-handed, you count to the right. If you're left-handed, you count to the left. So again, at minimum, you've got to have a continental grip. That's the base knuckle of the index finger and the heel pad on panel number 2. Now, if you want to help give your serve a little more topspin, you can always take the heel pad and move it up onto the corner between panels 1 and 2. That more extreme grip absolutely will give you more spin. Once you got the grip, the next thing to make sure you have correct is the toss. Now, this player's toss is pretty high, but one thing I do like about it is the placement. So if we just take a clock, right? So this is 12 o'clock right here. What you want is the contact point to be, if you're right-handed, just to the left of that. And the reason is, and we'll talk about this in a little bit here with the swing path, is it allows the racket to go up the back of the ball. That's actually what's going to be imparting the spin in order for it to kick, right? So top spin doesn't necessarily make the ball jump off the ground. What it actually is top spin makes the ball dive steeper down into the ground. And incidence equals reflection. And that's actually what makes the ball kick up on a kick serve. So you've got to make sure that the toss is either at a minimum at 12 o'clock, and if you're right-handed, slightly, let's say 11:42, right? To be funny. But that's kind of where you need your toss to be to make it so that you can be going up as you're hitting the ball. All right, next idea. Let's look at her body positioning at contact. Notice she is completely side on to the camera. We are looking directly at her right side. She is not facing the target, but rather she is facing directly along her baseline. Now, this is due to being on the ad side. Since she's on the ad side of the court, her body is going to be facing directly along her own baseline. If she were on the do side hitting this shot, her body would be facing a little bit to the right of the net strap, the net post. But keeping your body to the side is critical for the swing path. Now let's talk about the swing path. You do not want to swing towards your target when you're hitting a kick serve. And just because if you're swinging towards your target, you're not going to get the necessary spin and kick that you're looking for. What we want to do is actually swing very much along our own baseline. And so here is, let's go to contact. So we're going to say there's the contact right there. Her swing path is up and then down. So that's her swing path, right? So she has to hit slightly or make contact slightly to the left of her body so that she's still going up at that point. That's what's going to be putting the spin on the ball. But she's not swinging toward her target. And in fact, if we look at after contact, look how her strings are facing directly toward the back fence. That pronation, and by the way, you want to pronate on every serve, that pronation, because she is swinging along her own baseline, ends up pointing the strings at her own fence. And I even love, and this is actually something right here that I've started adopting on my serve, is an elbow bend. And you would see Pete Sampras do this. It actually makes it much easier for me personally to have pronation on my serve. So I would recommend that you film yourself on the ad side and see if you can get your strings to face the back fence or back curtain after contact, making sure that your body is still facing to the side. Again, we are looking at her left leg actually in front of her right leg. Her lower body is still facing off to the right. This is so that she's not swinging toward her target. So make sure you get the right grip. Toss the ball slightly behind you, and you want that ball dropping as you make contact. You don't necessarily have to toss the ball as high as she did, but you definitely want to toss it maybe a little higher than your flat and slice serve, just so that the ball is dropping. It's easier to hit topspin on a dropping ball, and if the ball is dropping, it's actually easier to spin up the back to get the necessary kick on your serve. Keep your body to the side. Don't face your target. Keep your body facing to the side. Swing up the back of the ball. You can notice that contact, her racket is to the inside of her hand. I should have mentioned this initially, but she's contacting on the inside of the hand. That's what's allowing her racket to be going up as she contacts. She is then pronating, pointing her strings at the back fence, and she's got the elbow bend. No, one more thing. Notice her back foot is actually landing inside the court. That's a great way to make sure that you get a little weight behind that ball. Now, one thing, if you're looking for people in your local area to practice against, play against, and even find a coach in your local area who can help you improve your kick serve, then use my link in the description, playercourt.com/2minute tennis. And when you use my link, you get 50% off when you join. So work on these tips and there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.